Hey everybody, how's it going? Evo here. We're doing another review today, and it's actually on my new car, you could say. I've had it since July, so a few months now, but I waited this long to get the review out because I wanted to get some seat time within the vehicle and actually see, how it drives, and I think now it's perfect time. So I'm sure many of you kind of know what this is already. This is a 2003 Porsche Boxster S. And like I said, I got it back in July, and I'm not gonna lie, I've enjoyed every single moment I've had with this car. It is a fantastic car. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and hop into the review with the exterior of the car. So like I said, this is a 2003, so that means it is the facelifted version of the 986, which 986 is the code for the first generation Boxster. That's the chassis code, I guess you could say. And in 2002, they actually facelifted the car. The Boxster was released in 97, and the first generation or first iteration of the 986 ran from 97 to 2001. And then for the 2002 model year, they actually facelifted the vehicle. And what they did was they added this new front bumper. It's not a major redesign, but they gave it a little bit more. I guess they brought it into the more modern time, into the 2000s. So you have the new front fascia, the new front bumper, and they actually changed the amber turn signals because, as many of you may know, everybody hated the 986 and the 996 911 because they said that they had the cracked egg headlights, because you have the regular headlight, and then these were amber in the pre-facelifted cars, so they kind of look like cracked eggs or running egg headlights. So when Porsche facelifted the 986, they actually replaced the amber ones with clear lenses. And for the rest of the world, aside from North America, because I guess of like highway safety standards or something, these were kept amber in the States, but every other country, when they redesigned it, they made them clear. The previous owner before me changed them. He put clear ones on, and in my opinion, it goes really well with the silver. Looks fantastic. So this car is actually painted in Arctic Silver Metallic, which, it was a standard color back in 2003. But the thing is, it's not like today, where today a lot of people get, like, let's say the new Cayman GT4s or the GT3 RSs in these paint to sample colors like voodoo blue. You have ultraviolet purple. These like beautiful colors. Back then it was more, I'm gonna get silver, black, white, guards red. It was kind of like that because nobody really, wanted the flashier colors. I don't know why. I think they look fantastic, but nonetheless, this is a pretty good looking color. I have grown to like it. And as you may have already noticed, my car actually sports the optional 18-inch 911 wheels. So the Boxster did come with the standard 17-inch wheels, which I'll throw in a picture right here. You can see them. These are the 18-inch wheels, and they are a staggered set. So the front tires are 225 40/18s, and as you can see, the brake they do have an upgraded brake caliper or upgraded braking system aside from the regular Boxster with drilled rotors. And then the back tires are actually 265 35/18s, so they are pretty wide for this pretty small car. And this thing handles fantastically. I took this car around, I live in Las Vegas, so I've taken it around Red Rock and whatnot, and this thing, it handles fantastically. I mean, given when I bought it, I guess I lucked out because the car has new tires, and the previous owner, I think, had just put them on maybe like a year ago, or maybe less than that actually. And honestly, I guess that's pretty lucky, right? So one thing I am gonna say, when I bought this car, I got it from Copart salvage auction. This car was a salvage title. In the next video after this, I guess you could say this is an introductory video, but it is, kind of review of the car. The next video, I'm going to talk about when I bought the car, what it looked like and where the damage was and whatnot. So, I'll throw in pictures of when I got it, and it wasn't that bad. It was damaged over here on the right rear corner. So it's been fixed since then, but it doesn't really bother me that I guess it was a salvage title. Now it's not, and it's a fantastic driving car. So getting back to the, I got kind of carried away. But when you come to the rear, like I said, when they facelifted the car, they actually added a little bit of a bigger spoiler. I guess the lips of the spoiler was enhanced a little bit to make it look a little bit bigger. As you can see, I know that bugs me, the line on the rear hood is kind of out of touch. That needs to be adjusted. The body shop didn't do a perfect job. But also with the taillights. Now, these are not the stock taillights. When I bought the car, that one was damaged. As I said, it was hit over there. So I just bought these. These are LED, you know, smoke taillights for this car, and they look beautiful at night. I'll throw in some pictures. So when they redesigned, or when they facelifted the 986, Porsche made this clear. This was also amber. This was changed to clear when, you know, they facelifted it, and it looked so much better. I had the stock left taillight. I'll throw in a picture of what that looks like here. And they also, for 2003, made it, if you bought the Boxster S, you got the dual exhaust tips. And then the regular Boxster has just a little, you know, singular oval one. Before 2003, I believe they had just the, even the Boxster S or the regular Boxster had the oval. So, yeah. Now, walking around this side, it is a really sleek looking car. I think it's a very beautiful design. Now, it is controversial. Not everybody likes, you know, this era of Porsche with the 986 and the 996 911s. But it's honestly, it's a really beautiful car. I think it's a really good looking car, and I think it has aged very well. And honestly, for the price you can get these things, it is probably the best bargain sports car you could buy. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the interior. This is the key for the car. So mine actually doesn't work right now. I don't know what happened to it. It was working fine. So this top button right here is the lock and unlock. When you push it, it's supposed to unlock, but it doesn't work. This is for the front, and then this is for the rear. So as you know, it is a mid-engine vehicle, so it has two trunks. It has a front and then the rear. So let's go ahead and open it up. I'll show you guys that when we get to it. Getting up to the car, you just pull it and it lowers the window for you, opens the door. So mine has the gray interior, I guess. And when I first got it, I hated this interior. I think this is such a bland interior, but honestly, it has grown on me so much. I guess the interior I would have gone with if I spec'd this car from new would have been the, I believe it's called Royal Blue. It's this dark navy blue color. It's fantastic. Or Nephrite Green. It is like this weird, bright kind of green color. It sounds weird. Oh, excuse the ambulance in the background. It looks weird, but I think it's a beautiful color. I mean, if you're buying a Porsche, I think you should make it look, you know, a little weird, at least in my opinion. Going ahead and stepping into the car, it is a low vehicle. I'm about 5'11", and I don't, I have enough headroom. My head doesn't hit the roof. But when I first got the car and, I got into it, I noticed just how small it was going from my previous car, the Mercedes S-Class, that, you guys had, that we did a previous review on it. And getting into this, it was definitely, it's much, much smaller, obviously. The other one's a luxury car, luxury sedan. This one's just a little sports car. But mine being the 6-speed manual, which, this is the only transmission you should get with the Boxster, with a 996 Boxster, you should get the manual. This is, the other optional transmission was a 5-speed. I believe it was a ZF transmission, but it was actually a Mercedes 5-speed. So it's sluggish. It's not for a sports car. So I wouldn't recommend that. I would definitely go for the 6-speed. Now, there is a big, there's a price difference. The stick shift cars are worth more than the automatics for obvious reasons. Purists want the stick shift. But, in my opinion, that price difference is definitely worth it. If you are going to get a 986 Boxster, whether it's an S or not, you should definitely get the stick shift. It's going to make it that much funner. Take my word for it. So, getting back to the space in the car, when I first got into it, and, you obviously have to use the clutch because, 3 pedals are the best. My leg, actually, when I do it, it hits the steering wheel. So, that's a little annoying, but I kind of got used to it. It is what it is. My car does have 91,000 miles. I got it with 88,000, so I've put about 3,000 miles in 4 or 5 months. So, that's to each their own. I think that every car should have miles put on it. That's what they're for. I think if you let them sit in the garage, it's kind of a waste. And that's kind of what the previous owner did with this one. I am the third owner of the vehicle. The second owner had it from 2005 or 6, so he's had it the majority of its life. And it's only had, I think he only put like 80-something thousand miles on it when he had it. So it was definitely garage kept and whatnot. And which, like I said, to each is their own. But in my opinion, I think this car should be driven. So let's go ahead and fire it up. You insert the key on the left side, as every Porsche is. And some little background if you guys don't know why Porsche does that. It's from back in the day when they were Le Mans racing, drivers would actually, you know, start out from outside their vehicles and they would have to run inside, get in the vehicle, fire it up and take off. Well, Porsche thought, let's put the key ignition on the left side so when the drivers get in, they start the car and then with their right hand, they could have it on the gear shifter and take off. So I guess that's you know, I guess that's how they saw it back then, but that tradition has been around forever, and it's even the modern day Porsches. Every Porsche has the key ignition on this side. So going ahead and turning it on, you have that beep. Let's go ahead and put it in neutral. So that timer clock right there that you see counting down, it says 42 minutes. I'll go ahead and shut this off. So that clock, that's actually, when that goes down to 0, it'll tell you how much oil level is in the motor. I don't know why it's so high. Usually when I cold start the car, like when I start it after it's sat for like an hour, it takes only 5 seconds, but this time, I don't know, I'm not too sure on that. So go ahead and put the clutch in and turn the key. We go ahead and we hear that beautiful 3.2 liter naturally aspirated flat six. And honestly, this car sounds fantastic. Even with the stock exhaust, I do plan on getting an exhaust. I'm not sure if it's going to be a Fab Speed exhaust or what else, but you know, in the meantime, that's all going to be coming later on. For now though, honestly, with the stock exhaust, this car sounds really good. And let's go ahead and so yeah, it sounds fantastic. And when you have the roof down and the windows down and you're driving, you know, the high RPMs, this vent right here is actually the intake. So let me go ahead and give you a rev so you can hear it. So that's actually the intake. So it sounds fantastic. You hear the induction noise, you know, going in when you're in the 5,000-6,000 RPM range. So going ahead and closing this door, you know, it's a solid thunk. I guess you could say it is a sports car. And this is back in the day when Porsche they weren't known for their, you know, high quality materials, because many actually credit this Boxster, the Boxster model, as actually the vehicle that saved Porsche from bankruptcy. Well, I guess this and the Cayenne SUV, but you know, so it's not the most expensive vehicle in here. You kind of have to remember that when you go ahead, when you know, buy one of these, it's not the highest quality materials that you're gonna get, but that's not, in my opinion, that's not what this vehicle is about. This vehicle is about driving and just enjoying, you know, the aspect of driving this thing and rolling through the gears. That's what this vehicle is about. It's not about, oh, you know, the stitching and the Alcantara and all that, which, you know, don't get me wrong, I love Alcantara and I love to have like deviated stitching, but that's not, you know, what driving is about. So looking at the center stock here, this is straight out of a 996 911 because Porsche had to save money. So, oh, I just messed up. That sucks. I lowered the window and actually I had just washed the car, so I just smeared it. I'll clean after this. But that's actually another thing. Going ahead and opening this door. To open the roof, you press this and you pull it and then you hold that button right there and the roof will lower it. Now, I don't want to do that because, as I said, I just washed it and the roof is actually still, actually no, the roof is not wet. Let's go ahead and put it down. So, like I said, you push this, you pull it back, it lowers the windows. I'll clean them after. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, and then the parking brake has to be applied. If the parking brake is not applied, it will not let you lower the roof. So going ahead and holding the button down, it lowers the rear tonneau cover. Do I have a box back there? I do. Give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and hold it. As you do it, the roof goes straight down behind you. Oh. And that's it. And then this light actually on here comes on to let you know, that you have engaged the process. And once the light goes off, you can let go of the button. So having put the roof down, there's a lot more headroom, obviously, because there's nothing above you. But getting back to the center stock. So this is, like I said, out of a 996 911. This climate control is out of it. The radio is out of a 996. This whole system is out of a 996. And you could kind of tell that, the 911 has more options because these are just blank buttons that Porsche put in here. They couldn't be bothered to redesign this bezel. So the climate control is pretty basic. You have your, AC, temperature, fan speed, and which zone you want it in, and that's it. There's nothing really fancy to it. You do get cup holders, so you have one, and when you pull it out, there's another cup holder right there. They are pretty flimsy. I mean, they're not, I wouldn't recommend putting 2 drinks in here because it does start to bounce around. But go ahead and going down. This is a CD holder. Of course, it's gonna get stuck. Oh, there you go. I don't use CDs, so I will be removing this. I want to put an Apple CarPlay system in here, so I will be removing this and relocating this to here because I also want to keep my cubby storage. The beautiful 6-speed shifter that we have. This center console is out of a 996 911 because, as you can see, the Boxster only has 2 windows. You know, the driver's side and the passenger, but the 911 has the quarter window, so Porsche couldn't be bothered to get rid of that. So you have blank buttons. It's a little ashtray with some garbage in it. This is a storage cubby that, you know, it's not that deep, but you could kind of, I guess you could fit sunglasses in there like I have. And my car also has the upgraded sound system. Mine has the upgraded Bose sound system. So this is a speaker or a subwoofer, I guess you could say. But if your vehicle doesn't have that, that actually is just a storage cubby that, you know, it could open and put storage in. So there's nothing, like I said, much of this interior. It is a pretty basic interior. But also in 2002, before I forget, before 2002, the Boxster 986 did not have a glove box. In 2002, they threw in a glove box. I'm assuming it's, guess from where? Probably the 911, the 996. So lowering that down, you do have, you know, it's a decent sized one. I have some stuff in there. So closing that, that is my dash cam up there. So let's go ahead and shut the vehicle off, and I'll show you guys the 2 trunks. Put it back in gear. So to pop the trunks, it's right here. In 2002, more facelifted stuff, I guess. They made these electronics. So they're electronic locks that when you pull them, as you can see for the front, that opens, and then you pull this and it pops the rear. So before 2002, these were cable driven, but in 2002, when they redesigned them, they also had to think about, well, what if the person's car, like the battery dies, because the battery sits in the front and you can't open the front unless you have power. So what you do is you come down here, and as you can see, they put this little symbol down here. It shows battery, question mark. You pull this off. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I can't pull it off right now, but this comes off. You pull, what the heck? Yeah, I can't pull it off right now. But this comes off, and there's a little positive terminal that kind of pulls out. You attach your jumper cable to the positive, and then you find a negative somewhere, like you could do it on here, on there. And then it gives it just enough power to pop the frunk. So then you can pop the frunk to access the battery and, you know, obviously replace it or do whatever you need to do. So let's go ahead and check out the front. Sorry about the mess. Now, it is a decently sized one. It is deep, but this spare tire does take up a lot of space. So if you remove the spare tire, I'm assuming you could put some more stuff in there. I have been able to fit a good amount of groceries in here when I needed to. So I guess it's not that bad. But the battery sits underneath there. That is an amp for the sound system. And then my car also has a toolkit. The previous owner was, I guess, generous enough to leave the toolkit. They didn't leave the owner's manual or anything, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And an interesting fact on all these Boxsters, this is your build sheet. I'm assuming the 911 996 also has this, but this is the build sheet for the car. Like, for example, that's the paint number right there is L92U. That's Arctic Silver Metallic. So yeah, that's an interesting fact right there. So go ahead and closing it. Let's go ahead and check out the back trunk. This one is also a decently sized trunk. It's not as deep as the other one, obviously, because transmission and exhaust are underneath this. So, excuse me, there isn't really much space, but I was able to fit some tools in here. You know, when I was traveling, I did put tools in here. I don't know if you could put a golf bag in here. I don't golf, so I cannot, you know, give you information on that. But I'm assuming maybe you can, because it does go deep in there on both sides. So yeah, this is actually where you put the oil in. That's the oil fill, coolant fill, and that's your dipstick right there. So that's pretty cool that, you know, I guess you can access it, because as many of you know, since it's mid-engined, the motor actually sits underneath the roof. And to access that, you have to partially lift the roof, or I guess lower it, and leave it in this service mode procedure, which, you know, I'm not going to do because it's a little bit of work trying to take all the stuff off to reach the motor. But I'll throw in a picture of what it looks like. So yeah, I guess that's concludes the walk around of the vehicle. Let's go ahead and get into the driving portion. I hope you guys enjoy it.